recording?
We're rolling.
Oh my God, already?
Everything's good.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody, from Love Starts Within. Hello?
All right. Yeah.
All right. Hello. We got some awesome questions today. So we're going to start off with, what parts of me do I hide in relationships to stay loved? Wow. So what parts of us do we hide?
I can start.
Yeah.
So one thing that I noticed, especially recently, based off of past experiences with people, I'm a very loving, love type of guy. Like I like to totally submit and give myself to someone if I trust them. And the minute I don't trust them, I'm very reserved. And I found myself like kind of holding back with new people and not being myself and not saying how I feel because I don't want to come off as too much. I don't want to come off as like I'm just like spilling over, but when that's exactly how I feel. So, I try to kind of play it off cool, when I'm really hiding very deep, passionate emotions, when there's someone that I really, really click with. So yeah, that's one thing that I mean, just my feelings overall, I hide, just because I don't want to scare anyone off. It's kind of like, you remember the cartoon of the girl who loved the little squirrel so much she killed it?
Yeah.
I don't want to kill a squirrel.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's interesting because, I feel like I'm the opposite. I don't know if I hide things or if I'm, overly, this is who I am. I don't know if I have too many, skeletons in the closet because I'm like, this is me. And if you can't handle me, then we're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I don't know if it's good, though, sometimes. I think sometimes it could put people that I want to maybe have a relationship with, it might scare them away if they're not, you know?
But you're consistently, authentically you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like a filter.
I guess.
Yeah. If they don't like it, they just don't pass through the filter.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll accept that.
What are you thinking?
Well, it's hard to say. Yeah, so for me, in relationships with anyone, whether it's intimate relationship or any kind of friendship or relationship, pretty much, it actually reminds me of a Peter Griffin. Once in Family Guy, he's like, with me, he says, what you see is what you get. And that's really how I pretty much am living in both intimate and other relationships, is I am just being who I am in each and every way. And something that if someone might categorize me in a certain way or identify me as a certain thing, but that is really their own mind or projection. But really, I am just being what I am to the best of my ability, as authentic as I can be in each and every moment, And I'm similar to you when I would be in relationships. I am also very loving and passionate and give a lot of myself right away. And sometimes get hurt because the other person might not be capable of that, or sometimes might take advantage of that, or I don't see it because I think that everyone's intentions the same as mine. So I jump into it and then really, there's a lot of other things going on. But at the same time, it reminds me of that Mother Teresa quote. I don't know exactly, but she says that people might hurt you or take advantage of you, but love anyway. So it's definitely a balance, but I do lean on the side of being myself and loving. And even if I end up getting hurt or getting a little bit taken advantage of, then I definitely set whatever boundaries and things I need to do, but I don't regret, the love, and I don't regret the giving, and usually people see that over time. It's also hard in relationships because when you first connect with somebody, it is excuse me, very, everyone's really into it, right? And there's a lot of love, and some of it's not even so much hiding the lesser qualities, but it's just, maybe it's hiding subconsciously, but it's just after time of being in a relationship. Sometimes it's 1 month, sometimes it's 6 months or a year. Sometimes you start to see people start to see the other parts of each other. And I think that's when we come to a place of, like, do you love this person unconditionally? Do you accept them? Are you seeing that, not every part of them is quote unquote perfect, but you still want to make it work and be with them? Because sometimes that initial high, not that it has to wear off totally, but it changes, right? Like it changes, I think.
It evolves for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree. What about you, Jackie?
I have spent most of my life being a chameleon, like just adapting to wherever I am, figuring out what they like, what they don't like, what I should say, what I shouldn't say, and staying in that little boundary. And then in the last few years, I've kind of just started saying, this is my voice, and learning what my voice is and learning what I really, truly do believe and what I just kind of took on because that made me fit where I was at. And so now I don't really fit in all the places I used to, which doesn't, it's not a bad thing. But I am liking my own voice better. I am liking being able to say even out loud. There are so many things that like places I've been, situations I've been in, and it's like, I totally, truly do not believe that, but I'm still doing it, but I don't believe that. And now I'm just finding that space where I can say, yeah, I don't have to. And if you don't like me because of that, that's okay. But I mean, I've been putting up with your thing for all these years. So maybe you could like listen to a little bit of what's going on inside of here. I think I had so many times that it was like that inner voice inside of me was telling me things, and I would say it out loud, and it got like smashed so fast that was like, how could you even say that? That is like, it would be sacrilegious, or it would be, that is so wrong, or how could you have that opinion? And I just like shut up and go, okay, you're right. No, I shouldn't have that opinion. But again, now I'm loving being at the age I'm at, because like, who really cares? If you don't like it, it's okay. It doesn't matter to me anymore, because I've just seen it all so many times.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, as you were talking, I mean, it reminded me too of like different time frames of my life, because I've not always been like this, right? Like prior to like me being in more conscious space, like, yeah, there was definitely certain things that for myself I wasn't okay with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Thank you, Jackie, for that invitation and word.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. To think about it different. All right. So do I know the difference between love and attachment? Hoo-wee. Who wants to jump in there?
I can go first. Like you were saying before we started, I think it is tricky, because until we're completely one with God or one in the universe, all of our love isn't going to be purely unconditional, in the sense that there's going to be attachment there too, right? Like even any person that we love, even if it seems very pure, like there's still going to be attachment, right? To a certain degree, because the attachment is really the mind clinging, basically. It's the clinging of mind, like the Buddha calls attachment, is the clinging of mind to a certain fixed thing, or to a certain stable thing, or to a certain pattern. But I do think that the more inner work we do and the more spiritual work we do, we can love with less attachment. We can love with more allowing the other person to be who they are and who they need to be. And not only in personal relationships, but with friends, or even with projects we're a part of, or anything. It's sort of even the work we do, like, can we do it with love, but without so much attachment to the outcome, and that's what creates the suffering, is the attachment to the outcome over which we have no control. But I think it goes in with what you guys were just talking about a lot, because attachment is the habits and the patterns of the mind. And with any intimate relationship you get in with someone, there's going to be love and a purity in that love. But then the closer you get, there's also going to be the things that come up, like fear or insecurity, or just these certain habit patterns and the ways you interact that are going to keep coming up and keep happening. So I think that's where the attachment and the aversion comes in. And I definitely would like to point out that I think there's a lot of relationships that become at a certain point where maybe it's not so much love and it's just a mix of attachment and aversion. It's just like pain bodies and other parts like clinging and fighting. And we think, oh, I love this person, but it's more like a bond through trauma or through attachment and pain. So I do think we have to, develop awareness to try and recognize that too.
Yeah. How do we recognize that? Maybe that's an invitation to talk about that. I mean, yeah, I think there are a lot of people who are absolutely attached to trauma bonds.
I think it's also when I think of love, I always think of loving unconditionally. And that's been a very big theme in my life lately, and especially in the past couple months, is just, my past relationships, there have been conditions. And yeah, you can love me, but love me this way. Or yeah, you can love me, but you love me because of something that's a two-way exchange and less of, I'm just giving. And when both sides are just giving, I've come to recognize the difference. When both sides are giving, it's more of a fluid situation where it's not like it doesn't feel like an attachment. It just feels like love. And I feel like when you look at the root of the attachment, that lets you know, like how pure it is. And I don't know, that's really something that I've come to appreciate a lot more and more, especially like I mentioned before, because like how I love someone is unconditional. I want to be able to do the things that I normally do in a relationship with someone, even if it's just a platonic relationship. I don't like love with conditions. I don't, it's just, it doesn't feel right for me. And I feel like once I get there with someone, I'm kind of X'd out. But when I have the freedom to be able to love without those conditions, and it just opens things up, and it's less of an attachment. Oh, I need to be with this person. I need to be around this person. It's just more of like, oh, what can I give to this person today? What from me can I give to make their day better? And, loving from that viewpoint has been so much more fulfilling for me. I found so much more happiness recently in my life that I've been loving more unconditionally. It's just, the more that I give, the more I get back, and I don't even want anything back. I've just been getting and getting and getting, and I don't even feel like there's work involved anymore, and it's so beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
It was the funnest.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's the funnest.
Oh, it really is. Yeah. It's a very fun place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like that's, my husband and I have kind of hit into that place too. It's like we go through these really hard, every hard lesson that should come up and you have to learn in life, we're doing it together. Mm-hmm. And some of them are ugly, and some of them are really hurtful, and some of them are everything. But I just realized in this last giant growth spurt that we just went through, we're still in it, but it's just like huge. And that it's really awesome to have somebody in my life that is like my teacher, but also like, it is unconditional. Mm-hmm. I know that there are things I'm going to do wrong. I am going to mess up, and whatever you call mess up. I mean, in his eyes or my eyes, whatever. And it's having that, being able to go back and go, okay, wait, what are we doing here? What did we mess up? Mm-hmm. And we have found over these years that there are certain things that we absolutely have to have for both of us to thrive. But for me to have somebody in my life that's like, oh, you want to go to Peru, go. You want to take that class. You want to do this? You want to learn about this? Okay, go learn. Come back, tell me about it. It's really not my thing, but don't stop here. Keep going. And so to have that is, I guess that's the biggest part, to have that unconditional, like, go do it. If you don't like it, we'll do something different. Yeah. That kind of a person to have that in my life, and not to say again that it's not all perfect. We're going through some like really big learning things, but if I would have stopped at you just messed this up really bad. We're done. Get out of here. Instead of, okay, what in me does that to you? Where is this at? And like the stuff I have found out about myself has been not all fun, but it's been a lot of work. But I'm so grateful for it. And I'm grateful for somebody that's willing to be sometimes the bad guy, sometimes the good guy, sometimes, the cause, sometimes the relief. Just to have that person, it's kind of it's fun. And, knowing that each thing that we're going through is just going to be a whole new experience. Let's just go experience this.
Yeah. I like that. I know for me, like, when I think about love and attachment, I think of like attachment is more to my things and like belongings and I think of all my belongings as portals of energy, like the things I create or the things that I acquire for me are energetic portals of attachment, of an experience, of a mindset, of whatever in that moment, of a time. And then the love is absolutely like unconditional love to a person, to my children, to other beings. And sometimes it's hard to stay like in a open heart when you're around people who, when I'm feeling dysregulated around unhealed people, it pulls up like my stuff of wanting to put up a wall or wanting to go on a defense or not liking someone's energy and being like, oh, I gotta like, this is not where I want to be. But yeah, I think, for me, the attachment piece goes more to like my belongings, the things that I can't necessarily take with me, but love I will, I think on the other side, continue to be in, once I expand. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, of everything we have, Rumi says, of all you see, only love is infinite. It's like only love lasts, right? Like everything is impermanent except for love. And I know what you mean especially when you're on a conscious and spiritual path, many, beautiful objects or belongings, like you said, that hold great significance and energetic power in these things, but then at the same time it's like they can become a trap too. Ultimately it's like we have to keep shedding and letting go even to those things. And Neem Karoli Baba, was Ram Dass's guru, the Indian saint that I love, when he always wore like a plaid covered blanket, right? And when he was leaving the temple that he lived at in 1973 and he was dying. The next day he ended up dying in a hospital and he knew he was leaving there for the last time. And his blanket fell off when he was walking to the car and the devotee ran and picked it up for him. And he was like, leave it. One shouldn't be attached to anything, and he talked about even cremation in that way. He's like, he said cremation, lessens the soul's longing to have to get back into another body. He said the last possession's been given away. But it's interesting, right, to think then what are we without those possessions is only love, is the love. Yeah.
And in Native culture, on birthdays or holidays, they gift their favorite items that they have to their friends, right? They give away their the most things of their attachment, right? Like the most precious thing, knowing that they can't take it with them.
Yeah.
Versus us who are just like, oh, we need all the things.
Yeah.
Just that just the giving of love. Oh man, it's just so awesome. It is so awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say it later, but you basically said it. But yeah, it's more blessed to give than to receive,
Yeah.
And I know we get into that with question 5, but that's really to put the focus on giving and giving love. Giving love.
So, am I loving someone or trying to rescue others from my own past? This one is interesting. Anyone want to start?
I can say that. So I have several people that have come and gone in my life. That I have a couple of women right now that I've been, I don't know, mentoring or just loving. Really, I've just been loving them. But the hard part for me has been seeing myself then and wanting to fast forward them to me now. And knowing, I mean, I know I can't do that. And the only way that I got from there to here was all the things that I had to go through in between. So just like you can't cut a butterfly out of a cocoon or you kill it, I can't like push these women and go, okay, now wait, fast forward. We're going to go 40 years forward and you're going to do really good.
Right. Yeah.
So just, kind of like being that person that can just love you and understanding. The gift I have, though, is because I lived through it, I can understand what they're going through. So I kind of know more what would I have really wanted at that time? What would have really helped? What would I even have listened to? Because I know there were several women that would come to me that would want to give me all that great advice too. Like, here, let me jump you fast forward. And I couldn't do it. So I trying to, remember not to push people through.
Yeah.
And just let them.
Just let them.
Just let them.
Just let them.
My mom just read this book called Let Them Be.
Yeah.
But I think it's...
I love this book. It's my favorite. One of my favorites.
Oh, you know
yes.
it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good.
Just let them. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's, for me, if I'm really trusting in the higher self or in the spirit, then it's like, I don't have to worry about, if there's attachment, like if it's someone really close to me, it's tougher because there is some attachment. So if you see someone suffering, you're like, oh, if you only did these things, you could change. It'd be way better. You wouldn't suffer so much. But like you said, then we also, each one of us has to look back on how we suffered and how we were only ready to change or hear things as it came, Mm-hmm. But I think the more I trust in the spirit, it's like, I don't have to worry about what to say or not to say to someone. I really trust that intuitively, if something's to come out or come through me, then it does. And if it's not, then it doesn't. And there might be somebody I've known for years and we interact and never get to a certain depth of conversation or of spirit because it's just not the time for that. Or there's someone I meet the very first time and it's like, whoa, you're like right connected, So I've just been working on really trusting into that. And then you don't have to worry about like, did I say the right thing or did I not? And Yeah,
I like that. I mean, I think for me too, it goes with like, sometimes I want to bring everyone in my world because everyone in my world is fucking awesome, right? And that's what I hear you saying. It's like, but they don't feel that way, right? And when we're all together, it's like not just my world, it's your world, and it's all of our worlds combined. And so, having to meet some people where they're at. And for me, it's like an invitation inward, like that you can't change anyone but yourself, but it's certain things that the invitation of like maybe thinking or exploring certain ways sometimes allows people to be more vulnerable or be in a different space. And then I think about it too as like shadow work, right? Like everyone who is in my life who are like unhealed or whatever is still parts of my shadow in different ways, right? The things that for me still hold some sort of emotional charge that I'm attached to, that I'm still working through in a different way of like releasing and sending love. And they're there for me energetically to like work through my shit and release my shit and love my shit and do all the things for myself, right? So I can continue to expand and create a different space for them to feel vulnerable, to hopefully go through their process. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. I mean, ultimately, that's what it is, right? Like every other person is just us that we're learning from. And there's one person that I have a really hard time with that I just started asking myself that with. And this reminds me, it's like the ways this person will be and the qualities of them is like very difficult. But then I'm like, what is, even maybe it's a more subconscious part of me, or maybe this part isn't as prevalent in me, but maybe it's like I don't like those things and their qualities because it's reminding me of qualities that I don't like inside of me, that maybe are a little hidden or under the surface, but it's like, oh, wow. So that's why,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for me sometimes like there it is. Okay.
There it is again.
I love that part. I love that part. Come and dance with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it is, right? Like bringing awareness to all of it, embracing it all, and to love and mindfulness as best as we can. Because if you just like sweep it under the rug, then it doesn't work, and then it just comes back. And it's like the universe the more you're trying to do your inner work, the more it's going to confront you with the things that are hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to add to that?
My thought kind of ties into the fourth question too.
Oh, okay. Well, you want to,
Okay.
How can I remain present when triggered?
I think a lot about like loving from my past, and trying to stay present because again, the way that I love is just so forthcoming when I lock in on someone and I really feel when I have strong feelings for them. I always try to make sure that I'm not like the things that trigger me is like, is this too much? I try not to love from that and just say, you know what, just do it anyway because you don't know what the response may be. And I try to make sure that I'm not forecasting responses that haven't happened yet from people that I haven't experienced things with, and giving them the benefit of the doubt that they won't hurt me when I show them my true self. And I've been really trying to do that lately. I mentioned that I went to Colorado and I was in front of a lot of different people that were of very different statuses than myself. I have a day job. You know, I make a very humble salary. I'm not like well off by any means. I'm like everybody else for the most part, but these guys were in a very different place. And when you're looking at them and you're talking to them, you're like, man, like, how do I be myself around other people? Will they accept me? You know, that there was something that I had to overcome. And then, you know, moving into new relationships with people, you know, is it okay to be myself right now? And just trusting the process and trusting that, you know, whoever you believe in will lead you to the right place. And, you know, like I said recently, it's just been leading me all through the right places and to the right people. And when you get those positive responses back, it's just, I don't need to give myself affirmations in the morning because the universe is just reaffirming me myself and just, you know, bringing it on myself. So just trying not to love from that place in the past, which, you know, has a lot of fear attached, and just being present and understanding that even if something does look similar to something in the past, I'm in a totally different space with totally different people. You know, the woman that I love now isn't anything remotely close to the woman I loved then. And that's the direction that I want to go in. So I'm going to continue to drop guards, move forward, and trust the process.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's beautiful. And yeah, I really feel like you're like co-creating, right? With the universe. Like you're setting and manifesting and co-creating. And that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
To have a friend, you have to be a friend.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
I've always also tried, but I think I do it pretty well, is even if I've been hurt in past relationships or different ways, whenever I meet someone new, like in an intimate relationship, I'm not bringing the past. Like, I'm not saying, even if sometimes even it's like, yeah, maybe I have gotten hurt or screwed over in some way, but I'm not trying to put it onto the next person.
Right.
Know? Like, I'm not saying like, because all of these things of this person, I'm afraid of this, because it's like, yeah, you have to take the risk, right? To love and to open your heart. And the more, like you said, the more love we are giving, the more loving people come to us. And yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, how can I remain present when triggered? I mean, ultimately for me, trigger would be any time that I forget the spirit or forget the self or my heart, and I am lost in the thinking mind, right? Is trigger. And then some of those triggers are stronger because it's pulling on some kind of attachment or aversion or self-identity that I have. So that's like the trigger arises. So for me, the way to work through that is I use a mantra, but I breathe and use a mantra and keep coming back to this present moment. And sometimes when it's a lot of stimulus and you work yourself up in the head, it takes a little bit longer, but it definitely gets easier to remember with practice and over time. But it's hard if you don't have a spiritual or mindfulness practice or some device for coming back to that, because then it could be basically your whole life you're living in that triggered state,
Yeah.
or very easily going back to it. So I think that's, why we have to keep doing the work, but realizing we can cut through all the BS and come back to the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel exactly what you said, like that when we're triggered, like the unhealed parts of us want to go back to every single time we've ever felt upset or angry or hurt or dissatisfied, and we relive that period or that time frame as if it happened yesterday, and it's connected to all the times, but like every day's a new day, and the only moment that matters is this moment that we're co-creating, right? But we also didn't grow up that way, and so it is this way of like reteaching ourselves that the only moment that matters is this moment, and where is that feeling coming from, and does it warrant the reaction that we're also getting? Like, you know, is dropping milk on the floor, should it go like 0 to 10? Like, does it really activate us that way?
Right.
Or is that from something of the past? And where do we want to meet ourselves? And does that, and how long do we want it to last? Like, every emotion should truly only last 10 seconds, like in and out, other than grief, you know? And then we hold on to it because we don't allow it to leave because we want to ruminate on it. Mm-hmm. And so then it's also the welcoming in of something else. Like, okay, I'm triggered. I feel it. I sense it. How do I bookend it? How do I work through it and then let it go and then welcome something else in versus sitting there and being in pain over it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Got to be able to let it flow through you and keep letting go.
Absolutely.
And doing the different methods we have to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're energy. We don't hold anything. Mm-mm. Truly, we don't hold anything. But we're taught to hold it, and we diagnose people to hold it, and we tell people they have things and they hold it. Yeah. And like, we don't hold shit. We're energy. So like, I mean, that ayahuasca, she was like, what do you hold, Melissa? You're not holding shit. And I'm like, you're right. Wow. I'm not holding shit. Right. We don't hold anything. Yeah. But when we tell ourselves, our belief system then keeps it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been working on this really hard, especially in the last 2 weeks with this and making sure that I'm recognizing choice points. So like, this is a point and I'm going to make a choice and I can choose to stay in this, hang in this, or I can move out of it and move on. So I do have those notes hanging up around my house. I only have 2 of those that just say choice point, one in the kitchen and one in my bedroom. But then I've been stuck in a loop. Like, there's a thing and it is just, it's determined that it's going to take over every day. And it's like, I'll be doing so good. And then somebody will say something. I'll be like, damn, I'm right back in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm catching myself. So now I made new sticky notes all over my house. My husband comes home and here's all these like bright pink sticky notes all over. And they're just all awesome things that make me smile, things that make me laugh, things that happened in our life that were like big highlights. Like, these should be the big things that come into my head all day long, not the stupid little stuff. So every time I felt myself, like a thought would come into my head and it was like, oh wait, no, read that one. No, we're going to do this one instead. No, we're going to do this one instead. And so I've really just been like blessing the thoughts now and saying, thank you so much for helping me know that I am through this and moving on. And I'm just, giving it grace and grateful. So it has been helping me to stay present.
You call that an ego death, Jackie.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm telling you.
I love it. It's a detachment from the past.
Going and going.
Absolutely.
And I'm loving it. Like, whoever thought death could be so awesome.
Right.
But
that's awesome.
I'm like handing myself the knives going, oh, just cut that one out. Let's just get rid of that too. Because for real, I know. I like literally.
I like it.
I literally did a couple of cord cuts too. I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I've tried detaching you. You keep coming right back. We just got to cut this.
I think in those moments we have one of 2 things to send ourselves, right? Like the things that you're talking about, like the cycles and patterns are going to continue to repeat, and then we have one of 2 things to send it. We only have 2 emotions, right? Love or fear.
Yeah.
And when we send it fear, it's going to continue to repeat until we have this choice point of offering it love. And how do we see ourselves in love and show up for ourselves in a different way, which then releases our energetic ties to those attachments.
Yeah.
and lets
Genius.
us expand, right?
Genius.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I found one of my biggest ones that, because I used to be so good at having arguments with people that aren't there.
I know what you mean.
Those are my bad. Like, I am going to prepare because you're going to say this, and this time I'm going to be ready. I'm going to have the right words. We're going to have this fight right here in the car. Let's just do it. And all of a sudden I was like, why am I wasting all this time and writing stories that I don't even want?
Right.
And so now it's like, as soon as there's names that'll come up, and it's like, oh my gosh, Lord, I just pray the most incredible blessing. And I just, and it's like constantly, I am sending you so much love right now. I hope that you're feeling it, because I'm not going to talk to you, but I am sending, and pretty soon they just quit showing up.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
the
I thought about
chatter,
that for so long. And now I don't have to have all those stupid fights by myself.
I know. It's awesome. Yeah. And the chatter is like our conditioning. The chatter is the trauma that we've been given unknowingly, whether it's from our parents or from school or ourselves, the old belief systems that are not truly real.
Yeah.
They sound like us because it's like our inner voice, but it ain't us.
It ain't me.
No, this isn't me. This is like my animal instinct, right? Like I'm my heart and I vibrate from my heart. Yeah. And so when I'm up here, I'm like, oh, that shit ain't right.
It ain't me.
Yeah,
Sorry
that's the
about
thing
that.
is like, first you got to know that, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't know that, which, many of us don't, then you are living your whole life thinking that you're what you're thinking.
I know.
And then you're just thinking like, that's me, this is who I am. And then that's where so much suffering comes
For
in.
sure. I was my brain till I was 38, until I went through my awakening and realized, like, holy shit, I'm my heart.
Yeah.
I thought I was my brain. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what I was conditioned to be, right? Like, that's what you are.
Yeah, I loved what you said about sending love, because it was someone triggers us, we could say, or is difficult. But then if I jump into the cycle with them, then I'm just part of the cycle too. And or if they do, they know there's a way they upset you or get to you. But like you said, if you can, that's what I love, the philosophy of, even if somebody hurts you, that's what Maharaji said too. Even if someone hurts you, send them love. He said, and be like Christ or Gandhi. And that's what I try to do. It's like, instead of, which is hard and it takes time, but it's such a beautiful thing. Like you said, it doesn't mean in the outer world that you necessarily have to interact with that person, but in your heart and in your spirit, you can send them prayers and blessings and love.
Right.
And maybe they don't understand that, so you can't go say, hey, let's be friends again, because they're not at the place. But yeah.
That's a crazy thing that happens though sometimes. There's one particular couple that there was no love lost there for a long time. I mean, it was always constantly. I spent probably more time sending them love and loving them and praying for them than some of my own family, just because it was the trigger. But then I ran into them, and like, I am so happy to see them. And like, I'm coming in with a hug, and they're like,
Yeah. I know
this woman. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that you don't like me.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've like moved us forward. We are way
We're good.
We're good. We love each other
Yeah,
now.
that's awesome.
We're so happy. Oh, I forgot. Whoops.
Yeah. I love that.
I know exactly what you mean. That's funny.
My daughter even she was like, looked at me and she's like, Mom, you almost hugged them. I did. And I honestly, and I can say honest and truly, it was like from my heart. It wasn't like a fake, okay. No, it was like, oh my gosh, these are people that I send love and caring, and why aren't you hugging me back?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how much good stuff is in your life now? Because no, but it was just, that was crazy. It was fun.
We need to all do more of that
But,
with our
you know.
collective unconscious.
Yeah.
Be like the Care Bears sending love. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a really great grocery store game too. You can do it at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Go in, and it's like I have sometimes some days I get bored, but I'll be in the parking lot and think, all right, I'm going to get 10 people to smile and say hi to me before I leave this store.
I like that.
I end up buying a lot of stuff.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, it's not that bad. But I mean, it is fun though. It's like to go in there and it's instead of just because I really don't even like grocery stores. So in order to make it fun, it's like, all right, we'll go there and we'll get at least.
Let's play a game.
I know.
You want to play a game?
Let's go play love. I'm
Ooh,
going to just
okay.
go through here and send as much love as I can.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I know that's true because I've seen you in the grocery store, and you're just as jolly as can be. You're just she's like bouncing around. I'm like, oh, what's up?
We were having fun though.
Yeah. It looked like a lot of fun.
That's
So
awesome.
That's what you
that's
do.
awesome.
Yeah. So, what kind of love do I want to give, not just receive, as we're talking about love in the grocery store?
Yeah. Like that.
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just unexpected. Like, just wherever you're at. Right. I mean, even riding my bike down the street, it's like, how much love can I spread in this town that I'm driving through? Because it's going to change. I want to be that change. I just want that to be happening for everybody. I really want everybody to feel as good as I do and to, be enjoying life as much as I get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful.
It's fun. And, what do you got to lose? I mean, really, just going out and making people
Sadness.
happy.
Yeah, sadness.
What do you got to lose?
Yeah, I know, right?
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear.
When you love right, it is very generous. It is incredibly generous, and you have that urge to give, like, hey, I want to be able to take your keys and go fill up your tank for you. Like I want to be able to. Oh, you need new products or whatever. Oh, I noticed you were low. I just went and got it for you because I love you and I care about you. And I know your day's gonna go better because you don't have to worry about it. Right. Your grass, it's cut. Don't worry about it. Like, those are the things, and it comes from a very genuine place, and it doesn't necessarily mean. I mean, I don't think of doing those things and wanting to receive anything. I mean. It's really in absence of thinking about what you're going to get back. It's just, you just want to have that positivity around you. And it's really awesome. It's just that very generous, unconditional love. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what unconditional love is, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's more blessed to give than receive. You were just saying about the bike too, and I was just riding my bike yesterday for the first time this season, and there was this woman like walking out to water her plants, and I smiled at her driving by, and I could tell she's like, did this person? She like smiled back. She's like, oh my god, they just smiled at me. Yeah, and it's there's a quote by Meher Baba, who is a great Indian saint that lived in America in the 1900s, and he's like, there's a big quote, but he says, "Those who don't have love catch it from those who do." And it goes on spreading in that way, right? And that is how it spreads. It's like it's contagious, and we spread it through sharing. And I just wanted to touch, because it goes with 5 and what you were just saying about hugging someone almost that you had a problem with. So there was somebody at a 12-step meeting, like a woman that I know that had done some work in her recovery, and like maybe 6 months ago made an amends to me, and I didn't even know that we had any problem, but apparently she had been like talking a bunch of shit about me and was like, I'm sorry, and I'm like, I didn't even know, but it's okay.
That's so funny.
So it was kind of funny. But then as I see her a little more often. I hadn't for many years, and I kind of forget that too. But it's like, even though she's the one that said sorry to me, I'm happy, but maybe she still has something inside. So I like seen her walk out of this door today, and I felt the same way. My mouth like opened all big, and I smiled, and then she's just like, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm like, maybe we're supposed to not like each other or something. But that's also like,
which is so crazy. She said, I'm sorry, but now she's like, okay, now you must hate me. Obviously you hate me now, right? Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
Don't make eye contact.
yeah, so it's funny. So that's why I'm like, but that's unconditional. That's love and growth for me, because before then, if someone was like that, I'd be like, oh, I want them to like me, or like, what's wrong? But now I'm seeing it's okay. Like, that is love. Like, I'm loving you on that level. It doesn't mean we have to talk or interact, and whatever you have to process or go through or be your life, that's okay. Like, I don't want or need anything from you, but it's okay. Like, I'm not going to have any negative feelings. But that's also loving ourselves, right? Then we're not looking for our self-worth in, not that we try to be rude or something, but we're not looking for our self-worth in needing like affirmation and approval. Yeah.
It's so funny too. Like when you have the ability, like when you're freely giving love out and you're receiving it back, but then like if you were to stop, like it's like the faucet turns off, you know, and you realize in other, like when I'm not able to give myself the way that I want to, it doesn't come. It's nothing's going out, so nothing's coming back. And I remember in past months, just like it just felt like the well dried up, you know, for my heart, and it took a lot of, you know, watering and you know, just rebuilding that back and getting my confidence back to the point where I can give again. And once I did, it felt so good. And I understand I don't want to be in that place where I'm not able to give the way that I want to give again, because not just because I won't get anything back, but just like my entire world is so much better now. Like we're in such a better place, me and Steve and everybody else that's in my head. You know, we're partying up there right now. Like it's a real party. Like I'm coming through for people. Everything is great. You know, but when I'm not able to give the way that I want to give, it's not, and when you realize the difference, it's just I'm not going back there again.
Right.
That negativity, you know, the people who are negative in my life or the things that are negative in my life, I'm going to continue to send you love, and I'm not going to stop because you don't know how to receive it. You know, I'll make sure to do it, you know, in a way that's acceptable. But yeah.
I also like how it made me think, because, you know, sometimes people are feeling they're too much of givers, right? And they're like burning out. But I just want to point out that that's different than the kind of giving and love you're talking about, and that the kind of giving and love we're talking about, right? And over giving is when it's from a sense of I have to give this to be good enough or to be liked or with some kind of attachment. That's when people burn out. That's different than the unconditional love and the giving and the spiritual.
Oh, it's so different. It may even look very similar. It may even look like when you give someone a gift, it could come from two different places. Is this gift good enough? Is this am I doing a good enough job? That was the place that I lived, and just trying to be good enough. You know, are my pods good enough? Am I treating you good enough? Am I coming through for you? Because I tried to do it my way, and you didn't accept it. So I want to be good enough now. And you're giving very similar things, but when it's just coming from a different source, it's so much better, so much more authentic, and then I don't even worry about it. You know, I can really close my eyes and just do, and it's so much different.
Yes, beautifully said.
I think that everything changed when I stepped into love. Like being in love is not anywhere close to being in love. Like in all that flowery, lacy love. It's a different, it feels kind of like walking through warm Jell-O all the time. That's the only thing I can think of. It's like, because it's just like being in it, you're surrounded by it, and then it fills you, and then now it flows out to other people, and that's the love, and then now they can be in love instead of that other in love.
I feel like it's like, that open heart. It's like that flow state that I will chase the rest of my life. Yeah, for sure. Where you're just open and present and meeting people where they're at and doing things, because you love them and you see them for who they are, and can sacredly witness them. And
and receiving too is pretty cool, because it's like if someone's if someone's trying to give to you with strings attached, or you have to do this for me, then that's a different story. But a lot of us don't like to receive because of the feeling of unworthiness, right? Like I'll do anything for people, but someone wants to pay for your food and, oh no, you can never, and this kind of thing. People have a really hard time receiving because of that sense of unworthiness. They're so used to doing everything for others. So I actually learned some years back that when someone does give out of love, I don't have to fight them about it. I can let them receive whatever that is because they're also doing a beautiful thing and being blessed by doing that. And I deny them that too if I won't receive. So I think that's a beautiful thing I've learned about receiving when something's coming from a pure place, that we can love them and ourselves enough to accept. Yeah. To accept.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like
It feels
that.
so much easier to accept it when you're giving it the right way.
Yeah.
It should feel so much like, yeah, of course, Yeah. And if it doesn't feel like we're trying to outdo each other as much as it is like, this is just how it is between me and this person. And it's great. It's a very great place to be. Yeah.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes.
Love that.
Too.
Yeah. Wow. So, am I available for the kind of love I say I want?
Damn.
Yeah.
I can tell you for a very long time, I was not. Because I wasn't confident in myself. And I let things get to me, and I let insecurities that I didn't know were insecurities within myself develop and form. But once I took back control of that and kind of reintroduced one Steven to the other Steven and rebranded, and we all got on the same page, it was great. It took a lot of, hey, you can make it happen. You're not crazy. I also realized I don't do well with, and I'm learning how, I don't do well with people who suffer from main character syndrome. People who just like I at first I was insulted by it. Like, people like when you're trying, especially in a relationship, when you try to express yourself to someone and you don't feel like you're being heard, even though they are probably listening, but they understand that in their brains that they're the main character. So like,
right.
Yeah, that's cool. But can you believe they didn't drop off my Amazon package? Like, and you're like, dude, I'm trying to tell you how I feel. Like, all right. Or like when I would tell, in this space that we're in, there's been a lot of failures in this podcast space that I've had, but I've had, a couple wins. And in my wins, I look at how people congratulate wins, and there's some people who will sit and talk to you about it, and some people say, yeah, that's cool. And then that's it. And I'm like, you don't understand what kind of work I just went through.
Yeah.
So like once I really started to understand that too and realize that, oh, okay, like it's cool. I'm just not the main character. Like they're the main character in their world, don't take that personally. You're still worthy. You're still, you don't need to get that back from them. You're still that guy, once I started to realize that and I started to regain my confidence, and stop letting someone drain my confidence, everything just got so much better for me in my life. And it sucks letting certain things go, but at the same time, now I feel okay. I'm ready to just give because I don't have to worry about, the consequences of it. I'm just going to do it and it's going to feel great. And it has been. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, we have to do our own inner work because everyone out there is like, man, I want to be loved and I want this awesome. But then we're not thinking about what am I giving to someone? What do I have to offer? What work have I done on myself? And it's like expecting the beautiful relationship to come to you, but then what are you putting out there?
Exactly.
And yeah. And then we only really could meet and mesh with, not saying we have to be the same as the person, but we have to be on a similar vibration or wavelength or energetic level, right? So if we're like way down here and we're mired in our own self-centeredness and drama, it's like we're probably not going to attract somebody that's vibrating at this like level that we want, Yeah, like water finds its own level. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard too when you're already in a relationship and you're on like a conscious path and they might not be, because it is. It's like a different trajectory.
Yeah.
But then you can't just like trade them in or do that. And so, but it's also like, dude, I'm going to keep growing and keep doing my thing and hope at some point you level up, you know? Yeah. So I think some of that's interesting too, because I think I am available, but I think my person is, you know, in his own world.
Yeah, I mean, in all the last 9 years of being on a spiritual path and being on a recovery journey and working with a lot of others and working at treatment centers and seeing people change their lives and in yoga groups and everything, that comes up a lot, which is really difficult, right? Like two people are together and maybe they're both in addictions or just living at a certain frequency. And then sometimes one person, changes drastically and all of a sudden starts growing and changing, and it's really hard because it's like, then what happens? You know, sometimes the relationships end, sometimes they stay together, sometimes, like you said, maybe the other person does too, but since we have no control over what anyone else does, it definitely could be really challenging.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I know for me, it's like being around a lot of friends who are in conscious space is super helpful because it reminds me of like, yeah, this is where it feels good, you know? Yeah, for sure.
It is good.
Yeah.
The only thing, so this kept coming back to me because I'm with you. There were so many stories of, especially when I was going through certain classes and doing yoga teacher training and different things where you are really seriously centering on yourself. You are learning so much. You think you're going to learn to teach other people, but really what you're going to these classes for is to teach yourself. And it was just a lot of internal stuff. And then I would go home and my husband's still watching the same TV show and we're still moving at the same pace and life is still like down here for it. It's what it's feeling like. And then I'm hearing, well, I'm getting a divorce and I'm leaving and I'm doing this and I'm doing, well, I leveled up and he didn't. And here I just can't live with this anymore. And what am I doing? And it's like, okay, what am I leveling up for? The whole point and purpose is to be in a better space of love and a whole better space of, so if I can't share that at home and make a difference, then I probably shouldn't go out and do it in the world too much because these are my safe people and they've had to put up with every other thing I've lived through and gone through and dealt with. And so now I'm getting to this space where I'm going to be like my best me and now I'm going to ditch you because you didn't go there with me. And then I started seeing like, all right, I'm just going to be me and I'm going to let this ripple happen in my home. Now, all of a sudden, you know, my husband's asking different questions and we're talking about different things and we're doing different things together. And now he wants to know, how'd you get there? What are you so happy about? Why are you doing all this stuff? How are you feeling? And then I'm turning back. It's like, how are you feeling? He goes, I love it. Okay, then let's just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, now I want to go meet your friends and now I want to go do other stuff. And we are, maybe we're not both moving up at the same speed every time. And looking back on it now, I can see where maybe he was doing the leveling up and I was the one trying to catch up. Right. Yeah. You know, in different areas. It's not always in the same area. I may know more about, I'll sit and, be able to talk to my friends about love and stuff. And that's probably not his most comfortable space. But he can sit there and tell you how to, tap trees and make maple syrup and cook this and do that and smoke fish and all these things. So it's just, it's kind of a matter of where you're leveling up at.
Yeah. I think it's like, as you, the birth doula, right? Like we're going through that laboring, that phase, coming in and out of balance, like the infinity sign, like coming in and out of balance. The contractions, the laboring into a rebirth. Yeah.
And you just keep remembering, just keep moving because motion is lotion.
Motion is lotion. That is funny. Still talking about the fishes.
There.
That's awesome.
But it's, I mean, that is probably what, if I'm at a delivery for somebody, that mama hears that more often than anything else. Keep moving. You just keep moving.
Yeah.
Don't stop moving. And I think that in relationships too, we just have to, keep moving. Keep the motion.
Yeah. I like it.
Creating it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did that.
We did it. We had an awesome discussion today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I can't wait to hear more about this girlfriend.
Wow. You thought you slid that in there.
I know, right? It's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, not on camera.
Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in to us today. Great show. Great show.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Love is definitely within.
Yeah. Love within.
Cool.
Nice.